Imagine yourself diving into the cold, dark waters of some remote corner of the ocean. There, hidden among the vastness, a great white shark is born. Unlike many other animals, the great white is already prepared to fight for its life from the moment of birth. Even before leaving its mother's womb, the pup must survive against its own siblings. This is because, inside the mother, the larger embryos begin to feed on the smaller ones, a fierce competition from the very first moment. When it finally is born, the young shark, already about 1.5 meters long, immediately swims away from its mother. There is no maternal protection. There, it is alone, and life in the ocean is not kind. During its first months, it must quickly learn to hunt small fish and juvenile seals, develop its instincts, and protect itself from larger predators that may still see it as easy prey. As it grows, the little great white becomes more confident. Its senses sharpen. It begins to smell blood from kilometers away and detect the faintest electric signals from the beating hearts of its prey. The ocean, which once seemed vast and frightening, is now its playground. It becomes a master of ambush, using the dark bottom to camouflage itself while waiting for the perfect prey to pass by unnoticed. And thus, in the rhythm of the sea, the little predator grows and evolves until one day it reaches adulthood. Now, measuring 4 to 6 meters in length and weighing over a ton, the great white shark is one of the most feared creatures in the ocean. But it does not hunt for fun. It is selective and expends energy only when necessary. Each strike is quick, precise, and deadly. So, dear viewer, from the darkness of the depths, the great white shark emerges, a creature that has faced challenges since birth, confronted adversities, and in the end, has become the true terror of the seas. However, as we will see in the following topics, it is not the villain that many believe it to be, but rather a crucial piece in the balance of the oceans. When the great white shark reaches adulthood, it assumes an even more imposing presence in the vast ocean. Unlike many other marine species that hunt in groups, the great white prefers to act alone. Being a solitary hunter has its advantages. It can move without relying on others, choose its prey with precision, and control the hunt in its own way. Imagine it gliding silently through the waters, almost like a ghost at the bottom of the ocean. It doesn't need speed all the time. Its technique is patience. The great white is incredibly strategic in selecting its targets. It doesn't waste energy frivolously. On the contrary, its movements are calculated. It waits for the right moment and the perfect prey. What are its main targets? Seals, sea lions, dolphins, and even small whales. But it doesn't attack just anyone randomly. The great white can assess its prey with extreme intelligence, identifying the most vulnerable. It uses its keen sense of smell to detect the scent of blood or even an injured animal from kilometers away, and then approaches slowly, almost without being noticed. You might be wondering, how does it know exactly when to attack? Well, the secret lies in one of this predator's greatest assets, its vision. Despite many people thinking that sharks are practically blind, the great white has incredible eyesight. It can see well both during the day and at night, using the contrast between the dark ocean floor and the illuminated surface to identify its prey. But the show truly begins when the shark decides to strike. It positions itself below the prey, almost imperceptibly, camouflaged by the depths. With impressive speed, it shoots upward, breaking the water's surface in a spectacular leap. This movement is so precise and powerful that it often catches its victim by surprise, ending the hunt in seconds. The hunt of the great white shark is, in fact, a masterpiece of nature, a spectacle of patience, strength, and efficiency. After a successful strike, the shark retreats quietly, consuming its meal with calm. But it's important to remember that, despite being a remarkable predator, the great white doesn't hunt without purpose. It plays a fundamental role in controlling the populations of other marine animals, helping to maintain the balance of the ecosystem. Its solitary hunting method may seem frightening, but it is part of the natural cycle of life in the ocean. Imagine, for a moment, the impact of a bite with a force capable of breaking even the strongest bones. This is not just a myth, it's pure science. When the great white approaches its prey, it makes use of one of nature's most effective weapons. Its incredibly strong jaws filled with razor-sharp teeth. Just to give you an idea, a great white's bite can generate a force of up to 1.8 tons per square centimeter. That's almost like having the weight of a compact car pressing down on a single point. But why is this bite so powerful? The anatomy of the great white plays a crucial role here. Its jaws are supported by extremely strong muscles that work like tightly wound springs. When it attacks, these muscles release all their energy at once, resulting in a quick, violent, and devastating bite. In addition to strength, the teeth are another impressive feature. Imagine rows of blades ready to cut. The great white has an average of 300 teeth arranged in several rows that are constantly being renewed throughout its life. When a tooth wears down or breaks, which happens frequently during hunting, a new one is already ready to replace it. It's as if it never loses the efficiency of its tools. These teeth are not only sharp, they are strategically angled inward, meaning that when the shark bites, the prey has a hard time escaping as the teeth act like hooks, holding tightly onto anything it captures. Another interesting fact is that the great white, contrary to what many think, does not chew its food. Its bites are designed to tear large chunks of flesh. It bites hard, tears, and swallows. This method makes it an incredibly efficient predator, as it doesn't need to spend much time on a single meal. And there is even more behind this feared jaw. When the shark attacks, it often closes its eyes or rolls its eyeballs back to protect them from possible damage caused by the prey. This creates an even more terrifying image: the quick, silent, and blind attack of one of the planet's greatest predators. The combination of the extreme force of the jaw with the precision of its teeth makes the great white one of the most formidable hunters in the ocean. But more than that, each of these characteristics is there for a reason: to ensure its survival and maintain the balance in the marine ecosystem. Over millions of years of evolution, nature has shaped the great white to be a perfect hunting machine, and its jaw is the ultimate proof of this. It's no wonder that it is known as the terror of the seas. When we think of the great white shark, it's almost inevitable to recall the films and stories that portray it as a relentless monster, ready to attack any human who approaches its territory. But does this image truly reflect reality? Well, it's time to demystify this myth and understand the real relationship between the great white shark and humans. First of all, it must be said that great white shark attacks on humans are extremely rare. When you hear about an incident, you can be sure there's much more behind the story. In fact, these sharks do not see humans as natural prey. In their environment, they are accustomed to hunting seals, larger fish, and other marine animals. But why, then, do these attacks occur? What many people don't know is that most of the time, the great white shark approaches a human out of curiosity. They are incredibly intelligent animals, and their bite is a way of testing what is in their path. It's as if they are trying to figure out if that strange object, in this case a human, is something edible. The problem is that, for us, a simple test bite can be fatal due to the strength and structure of the teeth we discussed earlier. Let's visualize the scene. A surfer is paddling on a board. Viewed from below, from a shark's perspective, the silhouette can easily be mistaken for that of a seal, one of the great white shark's primary prey. It approaches curious and takes the first bite. Often, upon realizing that the taste does not match what it expected, the shark swims away. This explains why many shark attacks on humans result in only a single bite, and not in a complete consumption, as would occur with the usual prey. Another interesting point is that, although sharks are incredibly efficient predators, humans are not on their natural diet. Sharks prefer prey rich in fat like seals because they provide much more energy to sustain their massive bodies. A human, on the other hand, is low in fat compared to these marine animals. Now, the most important point of all, great white sharks, contrary to what cinema and sensationalist media portray, are not hunting humans. In fact, shark attacks result in far fewer deaths per year than accidents caused by lightning or even by cows. That's right, cows. This means the chance of a fatal shark attack is extremely low. However, we cannot ignore that these creatures deserve respect. Swimming in areas where sharks are present requires caution. Most encounters can be avoided with simple measures, such as avoiding swimming at dawn or dusk, times when sharks tend to hunt. And here comes the most important point of our conversation. The great white shark, although a feared predator, is also a victim. Overfishing and hunting for their fins have put the species at risk. To put it into perspective, humans kill around 100 million sharks each year, and a large portion of this slaughter occurs to meet the demand for exotic markets and dishes. So, instead of fearing these creatures, perhaps it's time to view them with more empathy and understanding. The great white shark, like many other marine species, is fighting for survival in an ocean that faces increasingly more human threats. Now that we've explored the hunting side and its interactions with humans, let's understand an often overlooked aspect of the great white shark: its fundamental role as a guardian of the seas. Did you know that without it, the balance of marine ecosystems would be at serious risk? Contrary to what many might imagine, the great white shark is not just a fierce predator. It plays an essential role in maintaining the health of the oceans. Just as lions in the savanna maintain the balance of herbivore populations, the great white shark regulates the population of various marine species, ensuring that there is no imbalance that could affect the entire food chain. Imagine this. If sharks were to disappear, populations of seals, fish, and even other intermediate predators would explode uncontrollably. With this increase, there would be much greater pressure on smaller prey, such as herbivorous fish, which are crucial for controlling algae on coral reefs. Without herbivores, algae would take over the corals, suffocating this ecosystem that is so important for countless forms of marine life. This creates a cascading effect, where the absence of a top predator, like the great white shark, can lead to the collapse of the entire ecosystem. In other words, the great white shark is a keystone species in maintaining the biodiversity of the oceans. It ensures that populations of other animals are controlled, which, in turn, preserves the balance of the entire marine environment. A practical example of this has been observed in areas where shark fishing is intense. Without sharks to maintain natural control, some prey populations have exploded in numbers. As a result, critical habitats have been destroyed, and smaller species have begun to disappear. The impact has been felt not only in marine life, but also in the local economy, as many communities depend on sustainable fishing for their survival. Interestingly, the great white shark also plays an important role in the behavior of its prey. When seals or other animals know that sharks are nearby, they become more cautious and do not overexploit local resources. This behavior of avoiding risky areas helps preserve the environment, preventing certain species from dominating and destabilizing the ecosystem. Furthermore, the presence of the great white shark also helps maintain healthy prey populations. This is because, in nature, predators like sharks tend to hunt the weaker, sick, or old individuals. This process of natural selection strengthens populations, as the fittest animals have a better chance of surviving and reproducing, maintaining the overall health of the species. Therefore, when we view the great white shark as a guardian of the seas, we are recognizing its importance not only as a predator, but also as a species that preserves the harmony of the ecosystem. Its role goes far beyond hunting. It influences the behavior, health, and distribution of countless other species. Unfortunately, as we mentioned in the previous section, great white sharks are threatened by human actions, and their extinction could have devastating consequences for the oceans. That's why many conservation organizations have been fighting to protect these animals, which are much more than the terror of the seas that many imagine. With this, we can see that the great white shark is not only an impressive creature for its strength and ferocity, but also a vital element in the complex web of life that keeps our oceans alive and healthy. It is a true guardian of the seas, whose presence is crucial for the survival of countless other forms of life. If you think that the great white shark spends its entire life swimming in the same coastal waters, you're mistaken. These giants of the sea are true tireless travelers, capable of covering astonishing distances during their migratory journeys. And the reason behind these travels is as fascinating as the animal itself. Let's start by visualizing the scene. Imagine a solitary great white shark swimming in a vast expanse of open ocean. Contrary to what we might imagine, it is not wandering aimlessly. In fact, this predator follows a complex migratory pattern that involves long journeys between different regions of the globe. But what motivates these journeys? Scientists have discovered that the migrations of the great white shark are directly linked to a combination of seasonal changes, food availability, and even mating. Some populations of sharks, for example, migrate from the cold waters of South Africa or California to warmer regions like Hawaii or the islands of Australia in search of abundant prey and more favorable conditions for reproduction. One of the most well-known and documented migrations occurs between California and Hawaii. The great white sharks that inhabit the California coast make this approximately 4,000-kilometer journey to a mysterious area known by scientists as the White Shark Cafe. This spot in the middle of the Pacific Ocean got its name because it has become a favorite destination for these animals during certain times of the year. But to this day, no one knows for sure what attracts them there. There are theories that it may be an important mating site or a food-rich area, but the true reason remains a mystery. Now, imagine a great white shark, which can weigh over a ton, swimming thousands of kilometers in deep waters, crossing vast areas of oceans without any visual reference to land. How do they manage to do this? This is where one of the most intriguing mysteries of these predators comes into play. Recent studies suggest that great white sharks are capable of navigating by the Earth's magnetic fields, as if they have a kind of internal GPS guiding them along their migratory routes. This extraordinary ability is one of many examples of how nature equips its predators with unique tools for survival. Another interesting point is that during these long journeys, the great white shark adjusts its hunting behavior. In coastal regions, they hunt seals and other marine mammals, but in deep waters, where these prey are scarce, sharks likely feed on squid, large fish, and even carcasses of whales that sink into the depths of the ocean. And we cannot forget that these journeys are not just about survival. For great white sharks, migration is also linked to reproduction. During their journeys, they meet partners for mating in strategic locations. However, little is known about the details of the reproductive behavior of these animals, as most of these events occur in remote and hard-to-reach areas for researchers. A fascinating fact is that great white sharks are extremely loyal to their places of origin. They can travel thousands of kilometers during their migrations, but they usually return to the same areas where they were born to feed and reproduce. This indicates that sharks have a highly developed spatial memory, allowing them to navigate accurately through vast oceanic areas. In summary, the great white shark is a true traveler of the seas, undertaking epic journeys that cover thousands of kilometers. These migrations are driven by a combination of the search for food, mating, and adaptation to seasonal changes, and they continue to intrigue scientists who still have much to discover about these fascinating predators. Imagine you are swimming on a beautiful sunny day. The ocean waters are calm, and everything seems to be in perfect harmony. But down below, out of sight, a great white shark is watching you, nearly invisible in the depths, a silent and patient hunter. This is how the lethal strategy of one of the planet's most efficient predators begins. The great white shark, with its terrifying reputation, does not rely solely on brute strength to capture its prey. On the contrary, it is a master of stealth and strategy. It rarely attacks directly without first planning and preparing. Let's discover how this incredible hunting instinct works, which has made the great white shark a legitimate terror of the seas. One of the shark's primary tactics is ambush. They are known for attacking from below, surprising their prey with an explosion of speed and force. When it locates a target, such as a seal swimming at the surface, the shark observes from afar, often diving to greater depths to remain unnoticed. It waits for the exact moment to strike. In these darker, deeper waters, the great white shark becomes almost invisible. Its gray coloration on the back blends perfectly with the ocean floor, while the white on its underside reflects the light coming from the surface, making it hard to detect from both above and below. It's as if it is a shadow in the water, always lurking. When the right moment arrives, it accelerates toward the prey with brutal force, rising from the depths in a vertical trajectory. This surprise attack is so powerful that often the prey has no chance of escaping. A seal, for example, may be launched out of the water by the force of the impact, while the shark tears large chunks of flesh with its powerful jaws. Another factor that makes the great white shark an efficient hunter is its ability to detect electrical signals in the environment. Yes, that's right. All animals, including humans, emit tiny electrical fields generated by the movements of their muscles. The great white shark, thanks to a special organ called the ampullae of Lorenzini, can sense these tiny variations. This ability is particularly useful when visibility is low or when the prey is hidden, as the shark can locate it without relying solely on sight. These sensors are incredibly sensitive. Even the smallest muscle movement of a fish can be detected from a good distance, and the shark can accurately pinpoint the exact source of the signal. This makes the great white shark an almost infallible hunter, especially in situations where the prey is trying to hide among rocks or in murky waters. Furthermore, the great white shark has an extraordinary sense of smell. It can detect a drop of blood diluted in millions of liters of water. This means that if a prey is injured miles away, the shark can already sense its presence. This keen sense of smell is another of its main allies during the hunt. Once it detects the scent of blood, the shark follows that trail with surgical precision, moving like a submarine missile toward its prey. And we cannot forget its hearing and vision. Even in dark waters, the shark can pick up vibrations from low-frequency sounds, such as the frantic movements of an injured fish or an agitated seal. Its vision is also adapted to see in low-light conditions, allowing it to hunt in deeper waters where sunlight barely reaches. The great white shark is also extremely selective with its prey. While it is capable of attacking a wide variety of marine animals, it generally chooses those that provide the highest energy return, such as seals, sea lions, and large fish. This is because, as a large predator, it needs a lot of fuel to sustain its massive body. However, the attack is not always immediately fatal. The shark may take a first bite out of its prey and then retreat. It does this to wait for the prey to weaken or die from blood loss, making capture easier. This behavior is especially common when hunting larger animals, such as juvenile whales or large marine mammals. Another impressive characteristic of the great white shark is its patience. It can swim slowly around its prey, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Often, it tests the target by giving small bites or charges to assess whether it is the right prey. If it is, the shark attacks with all its strength. If not, it simply backs off, conserving its energy for the next opportunity. The great white shark, therefore, is much more than a killing machine driven by hunger. It is a born strategist, using a combination of highly acute senses, explosive strength, and stealth to ensure the success of its hunts. Each attack is meticulously planned, showing that this predator is, in fact, one of the most formidable hunters on the planet. Over the years, the great white shark has earned the reputation of being a true terror of the seas, a creature that attacks without warning, often with fatal results. Movies like Jaws 1975 help perpetuate this image, and the idea that this predator deliberately attacks humans is still quite present in popular imagination. But is this reputation truly justified? Is the great white shark an unrelenting hunter of people, or are we facing a major misunderstanding? First, let's analyze the reasons behind great white shark attacks on humans. The truth is that most scientists agree. The great white shark does not see humans as natural prey. Unlike seals, sea lions, and large fish, we humans are not part of this predator's typical menu. So, why does it occasionally attack? The most common explanation for attacks on humans lies in the theory of mistaken identity. When a great white shark is swimming in waters with poor visibility, it may confuse a swimmer, surfer, or diver with its usual prey. For example, viewed from below, a surfer lying on a board can look quite a bit like a seal, the preferred food of this predator. By making a quick lunge, the shark may bite to investigate, but soon realizes that it is not a seal and often retreats after the first bite. Great white shark attacks on humans are often described as exploratory bites. Unlike other species that kill their prey in one go, the great white often tests what it is attacking with a single bite. It's as if it is trying to understand what it has just encountered. This exploratory bite is sufficient to cause significant damage to a person due to the size and strength of the animal's jaws, but it does not necessarily indicate a predatory attack, as happens with a seal or a fish. Moreover, the great white shark, after the first bite, usually retreats upon realizing that what it bit is not its usual prey. Sharks are not human flesh eaters by choice. It is just a consequence of their natural exploration. The problem is that, unfortunately, many of these exploratory bites can be fatal due to blood loss or severe injuries. Another point to consider is that great white shark attacks on humans are extremely rare. According to the International Shark Attack File ISAF, only a small fraction of annual incidents involving sharks involve great white sharks, and fatal cases are even more uncommon. To put it into perspective, you are more likely to be struck by lightning than to be attacked by a great white shark. Even in areas where great white sharks are more common, such as the coasts of California, South Africa, or Australia, attacks on humans are sporadic. Most of the time, great white sharks avoid humans and prefer to hunt their natural prey. An important factor to consider in attacks on humans is that they often occur in the feeding areas of sharks. Locations where seals or other marine animals gather are naturally hunting zones for great white sharks. If humans enter these areas, whether swimming or participating in water sports, the risk of an encounter increases. However, this does not mean that sharks are actively hunting people. They are simply following their normal hunting patterns, and sometimes our paths cross with theirs. Another aspect that influences the presence of great white sharks is water temperature. These predators are more common in temperate and cold waters, which coincides with the locations of many tourist destinations and surfing spots. When the waters become warmer or colder than normal, great white sharks may migrate to other regions, altering their distribution and the likelihood of encounters with humans. Therefore, understanding the natural conditions and migratory habits of these predators helps reduce the chance of incidents. Today, many tourist locations with frequent great white shark presence use monitoring systems to alert swimmers and surfers when a shark is nearby. Fortunately, preventive measures against shark attacks are constantly evolving. Drones, shark detection systems, and protective nets in beach areas are some of the technologies implemented to reduce the risk of encounters between humans and great white sharks. Additionally, awareness of shark habits is crucial. Knowing to avoid swimming at dawn or dusk, when sharks are most active, or in areas known for having seals can help prevent incidents. Thus, the great white shark is not, in fact, a hunter of humans. In most cases, the attacks result from a case of mistaken identity or an exploratory bite, where the predator is investigating what it has found. Understanding this behavior is key to demystifying the myth of the killer monster, and at the same time helping us to respect and coexist with these magnificent creatures of the sea. One of the most fascinating characteristics of the great white shark is the impressive accuracy of its senses. It didn't become the successful predator it is by chance. Nature equipped it with a set of sensory skills that allow it to hunt and survive in the vast oceans. Now, let's dive into the sensory world and explore how the great white shark uses its 5 senses and a few extras to dominate the seas. It may not seem obvious, but the great white shark has extremely acute hearing, which plays a crucial role in its ability to find prey. It can detect low-frequency sounds from great distances, such as those generated by an injured fish or by disordered movements in the water. These low-frequency sounds, often associated with the struggle of prey or the chaotic movement of schools, are like an irresistible invitation for the shark to investigate. Interestingly, great white sharks can hear these sounds from over a kilometer away. Imagine how far it can perceive the sound of dinner before launching an attack. It uses hearing to locate potential prey even before they enter its line of sight. If there is one sense for which the great white shark is famous, it is its sense of smell. The shark's ability to detect blood in the water is legendary, and for good reason. It can sense a single drop of blood in a volume equivalent to an Olympic-sized swimming pool. This means that once a prey is wounded, the great white shark quickly tracks its whereabouts. The secret to this incredible olfactory sense lies in its nostrils located at the bottom of its snout. They are highly specialized to capture tiny concentrations of chemicals dissolved in the water. And it's not just blood. The shark can also detect other chemical compounds released by prey, such as stress hormones that indicate fear or panic. This keen sense of smell is one of the main tools that the great white shark uses to locate a victim from a distance, often even before visually spotting it. It sniffs its way through the ocean currents, following invisible trails to the human eye. Despite popular belief that sharks have poor vision, the great white shark possesses excellent visual capabilities, especially in low-light waters. Its eyes are adapted to see well even in the depths or in environments with low illumination. This helps it hunt during dawn or dusk when its prey has a harder time seeing it. What's interesting about the great white shark's vision is that it can detect color contrast very efficiently. This means it is particularly good at locating prey against the ocean floor. Thus, it can easily identify a seal or a fish swimming in shallower waters, using this visual skill to plan the perfect attack. Another fascinating fact is that at the moment of attack, the great white shark closes a protective membrane over its eyes, known as the nictitating membrane, to avoid damage when colliding with its prey. While this means it cannot see at the exact moment of impact, it relies on its other senses, and of course, the precision of its bite, to ensure the success of the attack. Now we come to the shark's sixth sense, perhaps the most impressive of all. It can detect electrical fields generated by the muscles and heartbeats of other animals. This ability is known as electroreception and is provided by a set of small pores on the front of the shark's head, called the ampullae of Lorenzini. These ampullae are sensitive to tiny electrical signals that all living creatures emit. Imagine being able to detect the heartbeat of a seal hiding in the depths or beneath the sand. This ability allows the great white shark to identify prey even if they are out of sight, hidden in rocky areas or under the sandy bottom. This sense is so refined that the shark can detect minimal variations in the electrical fields around it, enabling it to see the world in a completely different way than we humans do. For the great white shark, it doesn't matter if its prey tries to hide on the ocean floor, it simply senses its presence. Despite all its efficiency with its other senses, the great white shark often uses its sense of taste as part of its investigative behavior. As we mentioned earlier, it takes exploratory bites to test what it has found. Once it bites the prey, its keen taste quickly identifies whether what it attacked is indeed worth consuming. Often, the shark realizes that humans are not the ideal meal, and this discovery happens precisely through its sense of taste. It prefers a diet rich in fat, such as seals and sea lions, which offer much more energy to sustain its massive body. Humans, on the other hand, are not that nutritious for it. This explains why the great white shark often abandons its victims after a single bite. Reflecting on the history of the great white shark, from its role as the supreme hunter of the seas to the challenges it faces today, it is clear that this animal is much more than just a mere terror of the seas. It is a symbol of strength and resilience, a guardian of the oceans, and an indicator of the health of marine ecosystems. Through education, conservation, and respect, we can ensure that great white sharks continue to swim in the depths of the oceans, playing their crucial role in the web of marine life. It is a responsibility we have not only for them, but for ourselves and for the future of our planet. Together, we can make a difference and ensure that the legend of the great white shark continues to inspire and fascinate for generations. If you enjoyed the content, subscribe to the channel for more curiosities like this.